Very good morning. Today in this class we are going to discuss about programming structure and the outline of topic is data framing, list, matrix representation of data, array classes and programming structure controls. Everything we will see one by one. See, first of all, we are going to see data frames. Frames means arranging of the data in certain order. So first we know what are the different types of data are going to be arranged. The data are arranged in the order by using some number of rows and number of columns. Each and every number of rows and columns will have some unique ID. Suppose we in our table, the table have a n rows and m column is there. So a specific row and specific column we will going to be find based on the row number and based of the column number we will find that one. So number of rows and number of columns will going to take as a table structure file. For example, the table structure file is comma separate file or Excel file. So this Excel file or comma separated file will be have a number of rows and number of columns. So each and row have some unique ID and unique roll number and the column number is available. Okay, so we will use the function which used here for the row name. This is predefined function. This function will going to find the row names. Suppose the name is our row title, like age is our row title, gender is our row title. So we will going to identify what are the rows are available in that table. We will use this function and we have going to get the data, and we will use the read.csv. So CSV, this CSV file will going to take the extension of all the data to print. Inside we will mention the path location and read.table. So this table will going to take the Excel file or like Word file or like text file. All the data will going to be taken from here. So like here the matrix representation, so we will use the matrix via it's a 3 cross 3 or whatever the matrix with based on the data we will going to be get it here as a matrix. So we will going to identify what is the range of that matrix. So in this matrix function we will going to get the number of rows and number of columns to print. See, this certain order will everything going to be load as a data frame. So data frame is one of the important structure. We will going to access the data dot frame function. So this data dot frame function is going to be getting. So we will have to identify number of rows and number of columns. So n row is the name and n column is the column name today. So number of rows here, the data which we mentioned inside the table we will going to be get there. So suppose number of rows here we can mention 5. So fifth row here you have to get 6, sixth column. So fifth row, sixth column, what the data is there we will going to be printed here. Okay, suppose we have to rename the constant column, we will going to be use the renames also. See, for our example, in this structure the data is our variable. So in this data variable we will going to store the data frame. In that data frame, this is the commands, this is the predefined function which we use in this variable. The field of rows and columns is the first row is for ID column. So in this ID column we will load the IDs. Okay, the loaded ID is the letter. So letter means character. So characters are going to be load. So what are the characters I have to load? The range it is 1 to 10. So characters initially start with A. So A is a first character, B is a second character. So we have to load up to 10 characters. Okay, see, after that we are going to take the X value. This is one of the rows. So after comma there is a second column is started. After comma the third column is started. So here they totally have a one column, second column, third column. The range of data to stored inside the rows, here there is 1 is to 10, here also 1 is to 10, here is 11 is to 20. The range, the first ID is going to be take the value A to J, that is 10. Again X value 1 is to 10, it's going to be check 1 is to 10. Then 11 is to 20. So Y it's going to be start from 11 and it will complete on 20. So this is our output. We expected output of the first line. This line execution we will got this output. Okay. See here there is a frames which we going to use some predefined function. See we have used this head function. It going to be print the first 6 rows from the field of 6 rows. It's going to be print. Suppose we have used tail function. It will print last 6 rows. Okay, suppose there is 100 rows are in our table, but by using this head function it will print only first 6 rows. This will going to print last 6 rows. So suppose we have to identify what is the dimension of in that table. It may be 2 cross 2 and it may be 5 cross 5. So range of the tables with the dimension we have to print it here. So number of rows, number of columns, we expect the number of rows and columns inside the table. So this is the structure. So what type of data are inside the structure? It may be the data frame, or it may be the table, or it may be the Excel file. So what is the type of structure in that tables? We will find that one. And the names, name of the table, column names, it's going to be printed inside what is the column will be there. And this application yes, and data frames and classes. So the data is in the which type of classes? See this example is list inside the data. So the data will be loaded. If it is loaded, it is printed. So we will going to identify the data is in the which type of classes. The classes is the data frame classes. See, the next important topic is for control structure. Control structure, there is a two type of control structure based on the condition and without condition. The condition based control structure, okay, if the condition is satisfied, after we'll going to do the operation, like a case of if. Okay, if the condition is false, it can go to execute the else part of the condition. So any one of the condition will satisfied. So based on the condition, it will be going to react the process to execute. Then loop, like it is also same, but the loop it going to be failed. So number of times the condition will satisfy to execute only one time, but loop will going to be executed until the condition going to be failed. So number of times it's going to be executed as a repeatedly from the long time. Okay, the next one is for while. The while loop is like a same like a condition and also control. Both the process you can do here. So condition based control structure. So there is a two type. That is for entry condition and exit condition. So it can say do while loop and while do loop. So there is a twice. We will going to be see very detailed inside one by one. And the keywords which is repeat, break, next. So these three keywords are going to be used inside the loop to continue, next, or stop the execution. Okay. See the first control statement, if else. Okay, if else, if the condition is true. So for example, the range of value I can assign. Okay, the range of value A assigned as like a 10. Okay, now the person can check. Okay, A is greater than 15. So the condition is true or false. False. So the condition is false. It's going to be do some operation. Suppose the condition A is less than 15. Okay, now we have to check the condition is true or false. It is true. So based on the value we can set, in this value based the condition going to be execute. So this is for our target to fix. So after we can check the condition, it may be greater or it may be lesser. So first we have to use see this syntax. If the condition will going to be loaded here. So whereas the condition is going to be checked based on the condition is true, it will going to do some execution. Okay, see this is another example for if else. If The condition is going to be check it here. If the condition is true, it will going to do this part. If suppose the condition is false, then it will going to do this part. It will not work. Okay, so either any one of the condition is satisfied, but earlier example there is only one condition. If it is satisfied, it is going to do the process, otherwise exit the program. But here any one of the condition will going to surely work. See here, if there is a if else if condition. See here there is a more than one condition, it going to be checked. Then it can say multiple condition check statement. So if the condition is true, it will going to be execute this one first. Suppose if the condition is false, it will going to be check the second condition to satisfy. If the condition is true, it going to be do this one, otherwise it going to be do the next condition. So you have to check multiple condition at the same time in the single program. Okay, see here this is the example. Now we will load the value x. This variable we have to run if the condition, see now, if the value is 1, 0 or 10, there is a value, it is we have to check. Okay, if the statement if x is greater than 3, they have to check the condition x is greater than 3. So this condition we have to check. If the condition is true, the y value is going to be load and are assigned 10. So now the y is 10. So based on this condition, it going to be checked 10. Else the condition is going to make the y value is 0. So based on these x value, we will assign the y digit. Okay, if the value will going to depend upon the x condition, so it will say here another condition. If this condition based, we will got these outputs. So here y, if x greater than 3, we will load 10 or else it be 0. So earlier x based we will assign the value y, here y based we will assign the value to x. Okay, there is a equivalent of the two different expression is here. Okay, see next one is for nested if. Nested means twice. So continuously two times there is a same condition will works, it can say nested. Okay, so first condition will going to be checked here. If the condition is satisfied, we will going to do here, otherwise we have to going to be check the second condition. So this condition will going to work that twice. So it may be either operations are correct, it going to be do. If it is wrong, we will going to do the next condition. These are the books we are following for our references. We are using the textbook for Art of R programming and Art of statistical software programming, as following the references are mentioned here. Thank you.